is a more recent map of Indian lands across the United States. And this was made in 1971. And I was responsible for revising this map for the BIA, even though I didn't work for them. It was a cooperative agreement between the Smithsonian and the BIA in 1987, and we also revised it in 1989 and 92. But the first time the GIS was involved in mapping American Indian lands in the United States was in the production of this map in 1998. This was done at the Geographic Data Services Center, which, given the problems at the BIA, has undergone changes of name, changes of location for its staff over the years as well. This is the most recently this is the current non-officially endorsed nationwide map from the BIA. It came out in 2011. Previously, the Census Bureau used to rely on, in previous decades, used to rely on the BIA for Native American land information. Now the BIA relies on the Census Bureau for the location of all Native American land. So it's switched considerably. Okay. The Census Bureau has their own set of maps, American Indians and Alaskan Natives, and you can see it deals with Alaskan tribal locations up there. But if you need accurate data for Alaska, you really should go to Bureau of Land Management. They've got the best data. And then there's incompetence surveys. This area, and I know I'm probably overstepping my time. I'm almost done. Okay, on the left-hand side of the Hualapai Reservation, the U.S. Army in the 1800s surveyed the reservation, and then an incompetent surveyor from the BIA came along and surveyed it again and made it smaller, and unfortunately that's the one that they ended up with. So it's going through the courts. Speaking of the courts, the Indian Lands Judicially Established deals with all the lands that were in contention with the Indians Claims Court. But then, in more recent years, you've got the tribes undertaking mapping of their own lands, and this is Hopi lands, which is Hapatskua, the extended territory, plus the actual lands that are part of the reservation in darker gray. The folks at the Pine Ridge have established their own land information system in regard to their reservation. The Nez Perce have done a lot of cultural mapping, and that's it. So that's sort of a rush through of an hour-long talk that I've done elsewhere, but nonetheless, I think there you have it. And you can ask questions later.
We have time for questions. We have 5 minutes, so if anybody has any questions, we'll hand you a mic, and for the benefit of those watching online. And any questions?
Okay.
Thank you. It looked like most of the maps that you were showing would have been earlier than this, but I'm curious about the work of Edward Curtis, and
Okay, yeah.
if he did any mapping that you would ever use to inform something.
Yeah, he's most well known for his photography, but he did do a pretty nice. We have in our. You go to the Library of Congress. There is a pretty good map that he did as well, and so yeah. There's a variety of sources you can get for maps, aside from, going to National Archives, cartographic up in Silver Spring and Library of Congress. There's tons of maps you can make use of from a variety of sources, and other archives from other countries as well. Yeah.
Are you drawing on written accounts too, or focusing only on the maps, or will written accounts become part of this?
Some written accounts are taken into account because it's very important to, from written accounts, to be able to delineate points on maps. And sometimes the written accounts were not always adhered to, and that's where things come up in court, when it comes to land claims, yeah.
I have a question.
Okay.
So all these maps that you showed, where are a lot of these, most of these from the National Archives, Library of Congress? Like how long is it taking you to gather all these?
Well, it's sort of a lifelong project. I've been at the Smithsonian for 30 years now, so I've picked up some, back in the late 80s. I picked up some in the 90s, some in the, more recently. So it's to assign a particular timetable to the entire project. I think it's kind of difficult, but I've established a number of contacts over the years, and fortunately, various people send me updates and things that they find, like that map that was done by the Spanish in the Southwest is not in an archive. A guy came and brought the map with him and visited me, and because he knew the work that I had been involved in. So, that sort of thing arises once in a while.